Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it. What is up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate it. Happy New Year's. Today is January 3rd, and I want to ask you, what the fuck are you going to do this year to improve your life, particularly with women? Have you achieved the results that you want when it comes to your dating life? Do you have women in your life that are up to your standards? Are you happy with how things are going when it comes to your romantical relationships? For most of you, that answer is definitely no. And I want to offer you the opportunity to get on the phone with me, a free one-on-one breakthrough session, and talk about entering my 3-month coaching program so that by March of this year, you can be getting results with women that for your entire life you have only dreamed of. And this isn't some pie in the sky fantasy, some BS selling point. Look at my testimonials, look at my reviews, look at the reputation I have for getting men to their goals with women in as little as 3 months. If you're interested in meeting with me, talking about how you want to make 2022 a completely life-changing year, I do have some availability. Go to my website, click on coaching, fill out the short application, hit submit, and you and I will get on that free one-on-one breakthrough session together. All right, boys. So today we are going to preface this entire year by having you lay out your goals, both for the year as well as for the years ahead. The reason I'm recording this podcast in the very beginning of 2022 is because I kind of want to go back to basics this month. I want to talk about how to set goals, why you should be more confident, how lots of people are insecure. That's going to happen on my podcast that I'm dropping on Thursday, as well as some fundamentals of both attracting women, as well as what I call the art of living in both January and February. So the first thing we need to do is to set out our goals. And the reason we do this is because people who set goals, particularly those who write them down in a certain way that I'm going to reveal to you in today's episode, are exponentially more successful than those who don't. Now, goals have gotten a bad reputation over the years. People think they're bullshit. People don't want to set them because oftentimes it creates a precedence of stress and going for something under that pressure of having to achieve it. And a lot of people just kind of float through life like a fart on the breeze and don't actually set their goals. And what happens to them is they get the same results that they've gotten before. Your life is basically a mirror image of what it was previously, especially when you don't set goals. But when you set goals deliberately and in the way that I'm going to reveal to you in today's episode, you will get exponentially more success. You will hopefully experience exponentially more happiness, and things will pan out for you in the way that you plan. Why wouldn't you plan your life out? We plan everything else out. For example, going on a trip, you plan everything you're going to do, the hotel you're going to stay at, all the places you're going to see, and you plan it and you schedule it. And what happens? That trip usually goes the way you plan it. Why don't we do it with our lives? A lot of us are just kind of feeling that we're at the whims of circumstances. Whatever happens, however it pans out, I just hope it's going to be good, bro. And we don't take conscious control of it. Thus, like I said, our life is usually a replica of the past. If you don't take conscious control of both your thinking, as well as your goals, as well as the way you perceive things, your life is going to be a mirror image of your past. Does your past live up to the standards that you have set for yourself? I can say for the most of you, that answer is probably no. So we're going to talk about how to make your future into what you actually want it to be, rather than letting the whims of circumstance just put you there. And you have to accept a life that is fundamentally disappointing, which is probably the reality for 97% of people. Now, that 97% number, there's a reason I said that, and it's based off a study that was done on some Ivy League college graduates who graduated, and they were tracked over a certain number of years. 3% of those people set goals regularly. Okay, they wrote down their goals, they focused on their goals, and the other 97% didn't. Now, if you think about it, an Ivy League school usually produces the most successful people in society. So to think about the fact that even from an Ivy League school, 97% of those people didn't write down their goals. That's pretty fascinating to me. It shows that the vast majority, when breaking it out to society as a whole, probably 99% of people do not write down their goals. But in this study, 3% did, okay? And they physically wrote them down, recited those goals to themselves on a daily basis. And once they achieved a certain goal, let's say a monetary goal, they would set a new goal to go above it. Okay, so 3% of those people did, 97% of those people did not. What happened? What happened is the 3% that set goals regularly, read them to themselves on a daily basis, wrote them down, and repeated those goals once they've achieved them to make even bigger goals, made more money, and achieved more happiness than the other 97% combined. Think about that for a second. 97 out of 100 people combined were beaten financially as well as happiness by the other 3% simply because they wrote down their goals. Now I want to ask you, are you writing your goals down? Some of you, kinda. Maybe you have them kind of in your head. But what I'm saying in this episode is this year in 2022, all of us, and this includes me because I've learned a few things in the research that I did for this episode, will write down their goals. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. All right. So first of all, what's really interesting, and this is something completely new to me, is highly successful people. I'm talking billionaires. Write down their goals, and they have more than just a couple dozen goals. They literally have hundreds or even thousands of goals that they write down. This was completely shocking to me. I literally just learned about it, but they set goals in every little facet of their life, and they go down to the detail. Okay, so for example, their health. Okay, so if you were a billionaire, an extremely successful person, you would take your health and you would make out a bunch of different goals based on your health. Okay, so what do your legs look like? What does your stomach look like? What does your chest look like? Your shoulders, your arms? What kind of diet do you have? How fast are you able to run a mile? How fast can you swim X many laps? How much can you deadlift? How much can you squat? They set goals in every little avenue that pertains to that, and what you track expands. So for example, if you're trying to become ripped, if you have some arbitrary goal in your head, like, hey, I want to be ripped, I want to have a six pack, I want to look better. If that's your goal, like I want to look better. And I get on the phone every single day with dudes who, when I ask them their goal with women, it's super unclear and super arbitrary. Like, I just want to have confidence and be able to approach girls and have lots of girls into my life. And I say, no, man, let's get fucking specific. How many girls do you want into your life? What kind of woman do you want? What does the woman look like who you want to end up with? What's her attitudes? What's her personality? What's her sense of humor? What kind of job does she have? What does her ass look like? How big are her tits? What color is her hair? What color is her eyes? It's super fucking specific. And when we get on the phone together, I make guys create a goal that's extremely clear, because when you set intentions, and this goes back to the law of attraction, which I'll talk about in a minute, when you set intentions, you need to have a crystal clear explanation to, quote unquote, the universe, God, source energy, whatever it is you believe in, that this is your goal. Okay, so super successful people set goals down to the nitty gritty. They literally get into the weeds and make specific goals based on every little achievement they want to make. And they understand that that which gets measured gets improved. So going back to the health example, they want to look a certain way. They understand exactly how their body's going to look, how big it is, how lean it is, the body fat percentage, even how big their biceps are by measuring it. They understand this because they go to it intentionally. So going back to you and to women, which is the reason the vast majority of you guys listen to this podcast, what exactly do you want with women in 2022? Okay, how many girls are you dating? How many girls are you talking to? What do they look like? How do you envision your future wife, your future girlfriend? How do you envision it? How many phone numbers are you grabbing? How many girls are attracted to you on a day-to-day basis? Like, we need to get super fucking specific and also set a time frame. Okay, so if, for example, you were to join my 3-month coaching program, you and I would talk with each other. I would understand more about the issues you're dealing with, the traumas, the attitudes, the meta programs, the schemas, the archetypes, and I would quote you exactly how long I think it would take you to get to a very realistic set goal that you and I make together. Okay, so you are dating X many girls per week. They are at least this level of hotness. You are talking to this many girls per week. And by X date, you hope to have the ability to approach any girl you see, no matter how hot she is, with no fear whatsoever. Get her attracted to you, grab her phone number, and take her on a date later. Have sex with her if you want to, and either make her your girlfriend or blow her out completely based on what you want. So ultimately, the ability to approach a 10 and be able to yank her number without any fear whatsoever. And I will tell you exactly how long it will take you to get to that goal. And if and when we work together, we put that goal out there and we set a timeline on it. And then I give you the steps to lead up to that goal. And that gets to the first point of goal setting, which is you need to put a timeline on it. I want to have XYZ result by this date. Because the universe, God, source energy, I'm just going to call it the universe for the rest of this podcast so I don't have to say those three things every time. The universe needs to have a timeline because it's basically like a big mail order catalog. You say, I want a six pack by March 2022, and I want to be 8% body fat, and I want to see the Adonis belt, those two lines that go kind of to the side of the six pack that are created by your obliques. I want that by March 2022. Okay, when you set that, and I'm going to tell you the right way to kind of verbalize your goals, when you set it and you set a time limit on it, the universe has that much time to deliver it to you. And or we could even say your subconscious mind goes to work working on that goal and will give it to you by that date. All right, now let's break this out, and I want to talk to you about your goals by way of telling you what my goals are. Okay, so first of all, as we've learned from that study of the Ivy League graduates, you need to have a shit ton of goals. Have you guys ever thought about this? Like having goals about where you want to travel, having goals about the kind of things you want to learn how to do, having goals about the kind of experiences you have, the kind of skills you want to develop, the kind of people that you want to influence in this life, the kind of person you want to become. So for me, I have a bunch of things that I really want to accomplish, become, and experience in this life. Just a few things off the top of my head is I really want to learn to weld, W-E-L-D. I really want to learn how to rock climb. I want to learn how to surf on the wake of a boat, which I recently just discovered you could do that. That looks super fucking sick to me. I don't even know what it's called, like wake surfing or something. I just saw it. I'm like, yo, that's my goal. I want to learn how to do that. And I want to be as good as that dude by X date. Okay, I want to travel. I really want to travel to the Middle East is something I really want to do. I've never been there. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to Great Britain. These are goals I have set out for myself. I want to learn to do a wheelie for as long as I fucking want to on a dirt bike. I could do it on a mountain bike. Kind of a weird fact about me. I can do one of those wheelies on a mountain bike for as long as I want to. And I want to be able to do it on a dirt bike. I want this podcast to get 1 million downloads per month. I want to become a millionaire. And I don't know why people are so shy about sharing their financial situation with their audience, but it's looking very likely that I will have a net worth of over 1 million by somewhere around June of 2022. That's what my financial projections are. And once I become a millionaire, I'm going to be like, okay, I want to be 2 millionaire, 3 millionaire, 10 millionaire, 20 millionaire, and just keep going and going and going. Some of my other goals include shooting an arrow through a Cheerio. Very important goal to me. Smuggle a sensitive document across the border in a contact lens, learn the Panamanian shuffle step, and of course, jet ski around the world. Super important goal to me, but you guys get the point, okay? All jokes aside, you want to make tons of goals and you kind of want to pre-live your life in the most amazing way possible. Think big. Think as big as you fucking can. Shoot for the stars and you're probably going to hit the moon. And here's the thing, when most people accomplish a goal, let's say becoming a millionaire, right? Like me, I always wanted to become a millionaire. I wanted a net worth of over 1 million. That was like my initial goal, and I'm about to achieve that. When most people achieve that goal, what they do is they stop and they start worrying about losing that money. But the key, of course, is to set a new goal so you stay in that towards mentality, which I talked about my last podcast that dropped on December 23rd about having a masculine towards mentality, going after your goals in a way where it's always put in the positive, never in the negative. Your goal should never be, I am not poor. I am not fat. I am not fill in the blank. It should always be in the towards mentality, which is I am this. And even better, you should state it in a way that it's already done, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I had a client start in the coaching program and he's like, Mark, for years I've been telling myself, I'm not fat. And look at me, I'm fat. And I'm like, that's because, bro, when you say I'm not something, the only thing the universe hears is I am fat, right? So if you say I'm not fat, the universe doesn't hear not. It just has the energy of I am fat behind it. And that's why you keep being fat. That's why you continue being poor. That's why you keep sucking with women. If you tell yourself, I am not bad with women, what's going to happen? You will be bad with women. So one of the initial lessons to goal setting is to set it in the affirmative and be towards oriented. Because going back to the $1 million example, if you start thinking, man, I don't want to lose this, how do I not lose it? Then you're putting out the energy of I'm losing the money. And what happens to people? They start losing the money. So when you accomplish a goal, another important thing is to set a new one that's even bigger. And that's what I do. I literally have my goals written right above my head right now on a gigantic erasable whiteboard. And I continue to just update the goals, just continue to update them. And I'm going to talk about how to phrase the goals in a second, but this is what you do. Now, do I have hundreds of goals written down? Not yet. But after recently discovering the fact that super successful people do have their goals written down by the hundreds and even thousands, I'm thinking about doing that. But right now I have about 25 goals written on that whiteboard, and they usually pertain to different elements of my life, right? Relationships, finances, physical health. I have right now a super important goal of mine, which is to achieve my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is definitely up there on the board. It's one of the first goals I have, and I'm about to achieve that. One of the professors in my academy told me I'm getting close and I'm looking around January or February to get my blue belt. And when I do, I'm going to drop a designated episode about achieving that blue belt and why I think all you guys should learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because it's been one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Different episode. But when you write down your goals and when you keep it in the affirmative, when you keep it in the towards mindset, and when you update your goals once you achieve them, they just get better and better and better. And bro, this is the way to get the life that you want. You literally choose your life. You are ordering what your life will be from the catalog of the universe by stating to it what it is that you're going to accomplish by which date. Reading my board right now, it says, I asked to receive my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by January 2022. Thank you. Okay, now why do I write it that way? I've tried many different ways to write down my goals, and I used to write down my goals in the affirmative, which is something you guys should definitely do, but I'm going to tell you why I write them down in this way and how successful it's been for me personally. Okay, there's different ways to skin a cat. Here's one way to do it that I don't do anymore, but this is a good way to do it. Always state your intentions in the form of I am. Okay, even when it comes down to affirmations such as I am a girl magnet, which you guys should definitely be saying to yourself on a day-to-day basis, even when it comes down to those affirmations, you have to state it in the I am. I am has been literally scientifically proven to attract to yourself more power when it comes to your affirmations as well as your goals, because it's a statement to the universe. And yes, they've done scientific studies on this. I don't have enough time to go into it on this episode, but just trust me, they've literally scientifically proved this, that I am attracts to you quicker what you want. Okay, so even in the form of affirmations, which is basically statements you make to yourself on a day-to-day basis, you should always state it in the form I am. I am a girl magnet. I am a champion. I am a money magnet. I am happy. I am fulfilled. I am ripped. I am a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Okay, so you set it to yourself in I am. Now, I used to do that a lot, and it's when I heard this audiobook about attracting and manifesting abundance into your life that said you should phrase your goals in the form of I ask to receive, did my life absolutely explode. I don't know what the fuck it is about that statement, but there's something intrinsically powerful when you ask from a place of humility and you use the word to receive, because you're saying to the universe, I ask from you, because let's be honest, the universe is more powerful than we are. Whether you think it's God, source energy, or even if you don't believe in it, you have to admit to yourself that your life is a manifestation of your past thoughts. Nobody can argue that against me. Nobody can prove it otherwise. Your life is literally a manifestation of your thoughts. The way it works is first you think of the picture, then you paint it, then you step inside of it. Everything you're experiencing right now, even your shitty car, your shitty job, your shitty relationships, or for some of you, your awesome car, your awesome job, your awesome relationships is all a manifestation of your thoughts. And it's all a manifestation of receiving from the universe, source energy, even your own higher self, the life that you yourself have thought of before it comes. So I always phrase my goals in the phrase, I ask to receive XYZ. Okay. And even if it's a goal like, I ask to receive the knowledge and drive to attain a lean, muscular body with a tight waist, 8% body fat, six pack, and 21-inch arms. When you phrase it in that way, it has worked unbelievably well for me. Every single goal that I've phrased in that way has manifested in my life. I ask to receive. Okay. And again, even if it's some arbitrary thing, like for me, for example, I find it hard to sometimes make my family, my daughter and Marissa, who's my girlfriend and basically my wife because we live together, I struggle to make them a number one priority because I'm really into this podcast. I'm really into coaching. I'm really into my hobbies. I'm really into fitness. I'm really into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and everything else that I do. So I literally have a goal on my board. I ask to receive the drive and motivation to make Marissa and Lucia my number one priority. Thank you. And why do I say thank you? Because it's appreciation, it's humility to the universe, which ultimately is going to deliver you that which you want. Even we can say it's humility to your higher self that delivers to you what you want, or your subconscious mind of the future that's going to deliver to you what you desire. And when you come from a place of appreciation and respect, it manifests into your life with a speed that will absolutely blow your mind. All right, so here's what we're going to do. And I have to do this too, man, because I only have like 20 goals written down. I need to write down a whole lot more. Let's go for the number of 100, okay? You and me both. Let's write down 100 goals. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to divide them into different categories, okay? For a lot of you guys, the dating/relationship category, you really have a lot of goals where that's concerned. So let's write those down in the way that I just outlined. I ask to receive the skill set and confidence to be able to go on 2 to 3 dates per week by March 2022. Thank you. Okay, so you set the humble asking and you use the word receive, which I found to be very powerful in your goal. And you also set a time, a date that will be accomplished by. And then you say thank you and you have that humility, appreciation, and equanimity towards the universe that will essentially deliver to you what you want. Okay, now when it comes to fitness, I ask to receive whatever type of body fat you want, whatever type of musculature you want, how big your arms want to be, whatever it is, by this date, thank you. And when it comes to all these different things, right? Relationships, diet and fitness, employment, monetary situation, whatever it is that you're setting your goals around, maybe even some hobbies, you want to break them up into individual goals. Since we're going for 100, maybe you do 10 to 15 for each quadrant. And you set those up to be their own individual thing. Arms, for example, right? You're trying to get 20-inch arms, let's say. And 20, I'm just kind of pulling out of my ass. I don't know what you want, but if you want 20-inch arms, you would say this. I ask to receive 20-inch arms by April 2022. Thank you. Okay, so we write these down for each individual section. Once again, finances, relationships, health, hobbies, etc. Then we're going to amount to about 100 of them and you have to write them down. Then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat them to yourselves. Yes, all 100 of them twice a day and really get in that place of appreciation, feeling like they are already accomplished. Okay, so I want you to envision what it's going to be like for you to have that body. When you look in the mirror and you achieved that six pack with 20-inch arms and shoulders that just won't quit. When you're reciting the goal, I want you literally there, looking in the mirror, seeing yourself in that way. When you set the goal for women, dating 2 to 3 girls per week, I want you to see yourself on those dates. I want you to see that girl sitting across from you at the table and how hot she is, how her tits look, how her hair looks, her lips, her eyes. I want you to get very, very clear. So each time you recite a goal, you get very, very clear. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've visualized me getting my name called, stepping up to the professor, him taking off my white belt and putting a blue belt on me. I've envisioned that literally thousands of times, and it's gonna fucking happen. And do you know how many people who start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu actually get their blue belt? This number was said by Rickson Gracie, the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner that ever lived, in my opinion. He said that out of every 100 people who start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, 1 gets their blue belt. Just the 1. I'm the fucking one. I am the one. And when it comes to women too, I'd say it's probably about the same ratio. Out of 100 guys who are listening to this podcast, one gets the results that he really wants with women. And I'm going to be honest with you boys, it's probably the one guy out of 100 who signs up with me and goes through my 3-month coaching program. He's the one who gets the results. So with a lot of these things, you have to have an unrelenting, I will not fucking quit. You will have to kill me before I quit this thing kind of mentality. That you are going to accomplish your goal no matter what the fuck happens. Now, with that being said, I'm going to completely blow your mind by backstepping a little bit and wrapping up this episode with my last point. And my last point is this: when it comes to your goals, you want them, but you don't need them. Now, what I just said is you will fucking die before you quit. And now what I'm saying is you want it, but you don't need it. Okay. And here's the juxtaposition of how to play with the energy of the universe. And when I say play, I mean that very deliberately. You have to have that playful, I don't give a fuck what happens. If I get it, great. If I don't, that's okay too, kind of energy behind all your goals. So you envision yourself, but when you envision yourself, you have to let go of that neediness, that clinginess, that if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be miserable. Okay, when you have that vibe, you actually push it away from yourself. Why? Because the energy behind your goals, when it's that needy feeling, neediness comes from scarcity, doesn't it? So really, it's the energy behind the goal statement that creates the manifestation of the goal. So if you have a neediness energy behind your statement of, I want a 6-pack, and you're like, God, I have to have that 6-pack. I need it so bad. I'm going to die unless I don't have it. You're going to push that fucking thing away from you. So instead, when it comes to life, and this is so critical, boys, I know we're 30 minutes in, but I really want you to focus. When it comes to life, the most important thing is to have a playful, joyous, childlike energy when it comes to everything. You want it, but you don't need it. Okay, you want tons of girls, bro. You want that solid 10 in your bed with their legs spread, but you don't need it. Let's be honest, you don't need it. And when you have that playful, joyous energy behind it, that, yeah, I'm just going to play with this. I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to go to the bars and the nightclubs tonight and just toy with things and throw spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks, knowing I have my goal to date 2 to 3 girls per week to end up with a fucking goddess whose vagina looks like the gates to heaven itself. When you have that non-neediness to it and you just play in life, that's when you achieve your goals. Like, I am making a fuck ton of money right now. I'm about to become a millionaire and then a multi-millionaire, but it's like, do I really need that money? Need. No, I want it and I'm playful with it and I'm appreciative for it. And by the way, I give a lot of it away, but I don't need it to be happy. I don't. And I have fun with it. It's a game. It's a game. Life should be played as a game. So these goals, I want you to have that joyous, playful energy behind it, right? Like 20-inch arms. How sick would that look? I'd flex up and it looks so cool, but I really need it? Not really. I just want it because life is a game. And when you view life that way, it becomes so much easier. It becomes so much more joyous. Did you know when people retire, when they put that stamp of retirement next to their name in their own head, they actually start to develop symptoms of sickness. They actually start to have their health go down. They start dying because they tell their subconscious mind, I'm done. So a lot of you guys have a goal to retire. And I dare say I've even probably said it on this podcast. I want to retire by 55. But in my mind, it's like, I don't want to have to work. I just want to work for the pure joy of it. That when I'm 55, I want to have enough money to live on exactly what I want to live on, do what I want to do with who I want to do it, when I want to do it with. But would I still do this podcast? Would I still talk about self-development? Yes, because this is playful and it's joyous for me. And this is my purpose here. So I'm never going to stop being a coach. I'm never going to stop trying to help the world collectively by raising the collective consciousness of this world. That's my purpose here. But if I were to set the goal, like I want to be done with it and retire and have enough money to just do nothing for the rest of my life, I would begin getting sick. So when it comes to our goals, we have to continue making them for the rest of our lives. You will never arrive, brother. You will never arrive to a situation where you're done and you can sit on the beach with a margarita and do nothing, because that's when you start dying. That's when you start dying. So for the rest of our lives, you and me, bro, you and me, we have to set goals. And even if they're arbitrary goals, like I want to learn to weld, I want to learn how to rock climb. One thing I'm doing too, boys, is I signed up with the World War II parachute demonstration team who does static line jumping out of C-47 aircraft. This is literally this thing that they do. It's down in Oklahoma. It's called the World War II demonstration jump team. I've put down my deposit. I'm going to go train with them in October of next year, the year after. It depends what availability they have, but I literally have a deposit on this where I'm going to be a reenactor World War II paratrooper, and they do jumps over Normandy, France about once every 5 years, and they jump at air shows and shit. And that's one of my goals, is to become part of that team. You dress in all authentic World War II paratrooper gear and you actually jump, you do static line jumping, and then you land and you're like at air shows. And it's like this team that maintains the legacy of the guys. Remember Band of Brothers? You guys ever see that? Of paratroopers in World War II. So that's like one of my weird goals that I have. Do I want it? Yeah. Do I need it? No. But it's something that would be fun. And that's the way we need to look at it. So I want to leave you with that there's always that playful, joyous energy, and we have to set goals for the rest of our lives. I want you dying, and I'm talking to myself just as much as you, with goals left yet unachieved. Because once you stop writing down your goals, once you stop trying to grow, what happens when a tree stops growing? It starts dying. So forever, for the rest of our lives, and I'm going to be 111, and I'm turning 45 next month. February 3rd is my birthday. I'm going to be 111. So I have 66 more years to go of goal setting. Lots of shit to accomplish. Lots of time. I will never arrive. There is no end. It's all about the journey, and the journey continues for the rest of our lives. So to repeat, boys, write down your goals, probably about 100 of them, and phrase it in the way, I asked to receive XXX by X date, and then say thank you. So fucking powerful. At least it has been for me. There's many different ways to skin a cat. I'm sure there's other ways to write down goals, but this is super fucking important. Remember, 3% of those guys that graduated from that Ivy League college, and girls too, 3% of those people made more money than the other 97% combined simply because they wrote down their goals. So let's do it together, man. Let's start 2022 the right way. Let's kick some ass this year with the playful, joyous, childlike energy. Wait until you see what you can accomplish with this method. All right, gentlemen, I hope this episode was beneficial for you. I really do appreciate you listening. If you want to accomplish your goals in the quickest, easiest way possible with women, hire me, man. I'm an amazing coach. I get my dudes the results that they want. This isn't some pie in the sky fantasy. This isn't some bullshit promise. All those testimonials, 70 plus of them on my website, are fucking real. Real guys just like you who are now getting the exact results with women that they want because they set goals, they learn the skill set. We got them out there getting women and building this fundamental skill set and belief in themselves right from the get-go. You too can get those results. If you want to meet with me, click on coaching on my website, fill out the quick application, and you and I will get on that free one-on-one breakthrough session together. All right, gentlemen, my next podcast is all about insecurity, and this one is really important, and how to get more confident in yourself. So stay tuned for that one, and I will see you in the next episode.